This is a report from CBS, not NFL rumors. This is CBS. The Niners are reportedly interested in trading for Austin Hooper. This is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, they were linked to him 2 years ago when he was a free agent and Kittle was a free agent. Hooper got a lot of money, not as much as Kittle, $13 million. Two, Hooper's might get cut because the Browns really didn't use him very much. They also have David Njoku. They just gave him the franchise tag. Hooper might be a free agent target, in which case he might be even cheaper for the 49ers. What do you think of this report?
Yeah, I would like it if the move makes sense, right? Obviously, if they can get him cut and the Niners can just redo his deal, that would be kind of ideal. Mm-hmm. But I don't think his deal is too bad. I think the Niners have been looking for a tight end too for a long time now. I feel like every year they were in the market. Allegedly, they were interested in trying to trade for Evan Ingram. They signed Jordan Reed to try and become that guy. They were interested in Austin Hooper. There's been some mix-up in the reporting. Some say, it was a different route away from Kittle. Some say they wanted to pair Kittle with Hooper and go with it. They also do need, some sort of contingency plan, not because Kittle hasn't been on the field, right? We're talking about 14-8 and then 14 games this year. It's just that they need to preserve him too. He can't be playing every snap at the level of how hard he plays. Like, they should be able to have some sort of offensive rotation away from him. I think
that's what happened last year. That he got hurt week 1, it never fully went away, and they were sort of managing him all year. Yeah. And when they got desperate, they were like, Kittle, we need a big game. He'd come through, and then they would sort of back off for the next few weeks.
A little bit. And some of it was the quarterback missing him. Yeah. Some of it was he was getting some coverages.
Sometimes.
Right. Yeah. He dropped it. He was getting some coverages rolled his way that wasn't happening. And then some of it was the Niners just running the ball. He was blocking great, and it became all about Debo and Elijah Mitchell, and he just lost rhythm. But I
only
feel
the Seahawks threw the ball less than the Niners last year. That's true.
Right. Yep. Right. So there was a lot of variables that goes into this Kittle situation. But in terms of trading for Austin Hooper, I love the idea, right? He's familiar with this offense. He's a solid blocker. He's a really solid receiver. I think he would give the Niners another reliable receiving option. Although I've always felt like Kyle Juszczyk can fulfill this role at times that they need, that they keep looking for in these other receiving tight end type players, because we've seen in small sample size, he's actually a pretty good route runner. He's got really nice hands. Like, Kyle Juszczyk is no slouch, but even then, I still would love having an offense with Kittle, Juszczyk, Hooper, Ayuk, Debo, Juwan Jennings, who's one of the best players on the 49ers, according to Fred Warner. So,
hey, man, he said that about Ross Dwelly, too. It's kind of like a backhanded compliment. If he's like, it's like what he says about someone who's not a great athlete. He's one of the best players. He's a great football player despite lacking athletic gifts. Yeah. I think that's kind of what he means. Yeah.
Maybe. Could be. Yeah. I actually do now remember him saying that about Ross Dwelly now that you bring it up.
I was so happy. Funny. I was like, now you can say that about anyone, huh? Okay. All right, here's the thing with Austin Hooper real quick. I like this too. He's missed 9 games in 6 seasons. That's nice. That's one of my things with Kittle. He's actually been durable. He's a year younger than Kittle, and he's a little cheaper with Kittle. I don't see the Niners being able to spend $13 million for one tight end and $16 million for another one. They don't even pass the ball, and they have a quarterback who's going to be throwing more to the outside. To me, this is intriguing because I think it's either or. You have one or the other. And I don't know about cutting Austin Hooper. Look, I'm not a cap guy, but I'm looking here. They don't really have much savings if they cut him. He's more like the Kittle thing. It would have to be like kind of a post-June 1 designation thing for it to make any sense for the Browns. So if the Niners want to trade, if the Niners have been agreeing with me about this trade Kittle thing, and I don't know, maybe they do. Maybe this is he would be a great replacement. Great replacement. I'm just saying, probably the best replacement available. Austin Hooper.
Best probably available. But Austin Hooper, he had a really strong season his final year in Atlanta. I mean, granted, the Cleveland tight end room is crowded because I still really am a fan of Harrison Bryant. He doesn't really get the opportunities, but he was very good coming out of Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic, I thought.
I think
he was
someone
a Mackey Award winner, right?
My bad.
He's a hell of a player. He's been okay for them. And Njoku's obviously got a ton of talent, and then Hooper's pretty good, but I know that you really like this idea, and I understand why it makes sense. But for me, if we're talking about what's the best way for the 49ers to be a Super Bowl team in 2022 around Trey Lance. Whether you're, George Kittle could get banged up, he could have this injury, all of those things, I understand them, but I just don't see it. I see that it being a better opportunity with George Kittle on the field rather than with him off the field.
I love the idea of George Kittle on the field. My fear is that that's not going to be happening as much anymore. So I don't know. I can't predict the future on that. But again, what's intriguing about this report to me is that I think he's too expensive to pair with Kittle. I could be wrong. I really don't do math very well, but I don't see them cutting him for the same reason.
Well, there's cap gymnastics that they could do, right? But like you said, just based on the raw numbers, I think you said what's Kittle's cap hit this year?
16.
It's 16.
16, and then 16 plus, and this guy's like 13.25. I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot for a team that doesn't grow.
And it's generally a lot for the tight end position in general.
I mean, damn. So why I think this is intriguing is like, if I were Kittle's agent, I'd be calling up John like, hey, yo, what? What is this about? Tell me it's not true. Anyway.
You still talk to Kittle's agent?
Not in a